Any questions on the calendar going forward?
No.
No? Okay. Good deal. So, let's start up with, let's do some muscles. Okay, we have 3 types of muscles. What are those 3 types of muscles?
Skeletal, smooth, and cardiac.
Skeletal, smooth, and cardiac. Excellent. Well, I suppose I should put it in present mode.
Yeah. Should we turn off the lights back there too?
Who'd you punch? Or like dims on it, because it's kind of hard to see.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably because it's white writing.
Stone's white.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll close the blinds to them. Okay, so here's where I encourage you to make sure that you're writing down on your notes. Okay, so what are the 3 types of muscles? We talked about them. We have smooth, cardiac, and skeletal muscles. So those are the 3 basic muscle types. So skeletal muscles are going to be attached to bones by tendons. You have cardiac muscles, which are found only in the heart, right? And smooth muscles are going to be found on the walls of hollow organs. So going through these then, let's talk about smooth muscles. Are smooth muscles, are they going to be voluntary or involuntary?
Involuntary.
Involuntary, good. And are they going to be striated or not striated?
Not striated.
Right, so they're unstriated, right? So let's talk about cardiac muscles now. Thinking about cardiac muscles, are they voluntary or involuntary?
Involuntary.
Involuntary, right? We don't have to conscientiously think, okay, beat, right? We don't have to do that. Like, it's going to be doing that automatically. But cardiac muscles, are they going to be striated or not? Unstriated.
Striated.
They are striated. Excellent. You guys did your reading. And where do we find cardiac muscles?
In the heart.
In the heart. Are they found anyplace else?
No.
No. They're solely found in the heart. And then skeletal muscles. Are they voluntary or involuntary?
Voluntary.
Voluntary, right? We can conscientiously move our muscles because of that. So, are they going to be striated or unstriated?
Striated.
Right, and does everybody remember when we talked, like in the back, when we were working on our cats, I kept saying, do you see the striations? Right, those are those lines, right? The striations are going to be these, basically the organization of these muscle fibers or muscle cells, okay? So a couple things to point out. Prefixes. Myo or mice, that refers to muscle, okay? And then the prefix sarco is going to refer to the term flesh, okay? So I just want to make those notes in there. All right, so we have connective tissue that wraps around the skeletal muscle. And we'll see a picture here in a moment, and then you can label your diagram once we get to it. But a few terms that I want to go through before that. Cells are surrounded by a bundle of connective tissue, right? So if we think of skeletal muscles are highly organized, right? They aren't just some thing that's, willy-nilly put together. No, it's structured upon structured upon structure. And so, basically, think of it as like one major thing that can be broken down into a smaller thing that can be broken down into something even smaller, and then something even smaller. And then ultimately, you're down to, a microscopic thing where it's so simple but very complex and just keeps being broken down. So cells are surrounded at the large level. Cells are surrounded and bounded by connective tissue. And so the whole part that covers the whole skeletal muscle, that's going to be called the epimysium. That's going to cover the entire skeletal muscle. And then going in, I'm kind of going backwards from here. We have the perimysium, and that's going to wrap around each fascicle or bundle of muscle fibers. Then you have the endomysium, which is going to enclose a single muscle fiber. And another term for muscle fiber is going to be muscle cell. And then the cells are surrounded and bounded by connective tissue, okay? And fascia, that's on the outside, right? When we were in the back with the cats, I constantly was saying, we need to remove more of this fascia, right? So that's just going to be the outside of the epimysium. All right, so if you pull up your diagram, this is going to be your first diagram that you have, right? So, to begin labeling it. All right. what's this part here, where the muscle is attaching to the bone? Tendon, excellent. Okay, and so then, now the next thing that we have, we're going to have our bone here, right? We're going to have a tendon here. So then on the outside, we are going to have what we call the epimysium, right? So the epimysium is that outer covering of the entire muscle fiber, right? Of the entire muscle itself, right? And so that's what that is. That's the epimysium. And not the muscle fiber. Sorry, excuse my misstatement there. The muscle fiber is going to be up there, right? That's the cell. So not the muscle fiber, but the actual muscles themselves. The whole encompassing muscle. Yeah, what's up?
What is the myofibril or whatever?
We'll go through that. The myofibril. Yeah, we'll go through that, okay?
So it's not that little thing sticking out?
No.
Okay.
No, we will go through that, okay? That's one more part that's within a muscle fiber. You have the myofibril, okay? So breaking it down then. So think big scale, you're going to have the muscle itself, right? And so then if we break it down into the smaller thing, you're going to get, so you get a group of muscle fibers, okay? And so these group of muscle fibers is what we call a fascicle. Okay, and so the fascicle is like one of these things. It's that whole group of muscle fibers. And so the fascicle is going to be wrapped up in a paramecium. Okay, so that's what we're seeing here. This is the paramecium right on here. It's the outer covering where you're going to have kind of all of these muscle cells within it. And then if you break it up, you're going to have the muscle fibers, right? And so around each muscle fiber, and between the muscle fibers, you're going to have something called the endomysium. Okay? So that's how we break that up. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are we at with the labeling? This is directly taken from your book. Okay?
What's that thing?
The thing.
Right next to the
Epimysium.
Yeah, that red.
This one,
Like
right.
Darker red.
Right, so the blue and the red part, those are going to be your blood vessels. Okay, so you're going to have your blood vessels going through. Yeah, we see it right here.
What is the P1 pointing to?
The paramecium. Okay, so the paramecium is pointing to this. It's this colored stuff, right? I don't. What color is it? Is it kind of
It's like gray.
grayish. Okay, so right, so it's circling right around here. That's what the paramecium is, and the paramecium wraps up a fascicle. Okay. Are we good with this one? Can we move on, or you need another minute? Good? Okay. So now, can anybody tell me a function of the skeletal muscle?
Movement.
Okay. Movement. What else? Support. There we go. I like that one. Stabilizing. Yeah. So stabilizing your joints is one of them. Another one. So what's the difference between this and this? What do you call that? Posture. Right? So it helps you maintain your posture. Again, that's kind of that stabilizing thing. And what happens when you're really cold? What happens to you?
Shiver.
You shiver. Why do you shiver when you're cold?
Keep warm.
Your muscles
Right.
are shaking.
Right, it's generating body heat for you. Right? So those are going to be your 4 functions of your skeletal muscle, right? It's to produce movement, maintain posture, stabilize your joints, and to generate heat. Can we get these down?
Yeah.
Okay. I need everybody to stand up real quick. We're going to going to do a little brain break. I think people are kind of getting tired.
I'm going to dance.
We kind of are going to dance, yeah. Okay. So, okay, I need you to put your hands up, right? Okay, put them on your temples. Okay, say, I'm awake.
I'm awake.
Okay, I'm alert. I'm alive.
I'm alive.
Okay, I'm awake.
I'm awake.
I'm alert.
I'm alert.
I'm alive.
I'm alive.
I'm awake.
I'm awake.
I'm alert.
I'm alert.
I'm alive.
I'm alive.
I'm enthusiastic. I'm awake.
I'm awake.
I'm alert.
I'm alert.
I'm alive.
I'm alive.
I'm enthusiastic. Okay, good. Remember that? Okay, what's one more way that we can remember things? By putting things to song, right? How do we learn the ABCs? Through song. So, I'm awake, alert, alive, enthusiastic.
Oh my god.
I'm awake, alert, alive, enthusiastic. I'm awake, alert, alive. Alive, alert, awake. I'm awake, alert, alive, enthusiastic. Okay, you guys got that. Okay,
What are we for?
we're going to do this. Everybody stand up. Come on, we're doing this.
This is your warm-up for tonight.
Okay, ready?
No, we graduated.
Okay, I learned this at my conference this weekend, so that's why we're doing it, right? Okay, and there a lot of good things are going on. So, ready? I'm awake, alert, alive. Oh, sorry.
Enthusiastic.
There we go, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm awake, alert, alive, enthusiastic. I'm awake, alert, alive. Alive, awake, alert. I'm awake, alert, alive, enthusiastic. Okay, now.
Faster.
Sing around.
Right, so yeah, let's do it faster.
All right, Brendan, you ready?
How fast do you think we can go?
Not fast. I don't know.
Okay. I'm awake, alert, alive, enthusiastic. I'm awake, alert, alive, enthusiastic. I'm awake, alert, alive. Alive, awake, alert. I'm awake, alert, alive, enthusiastic. Alright, good. You sit down. Okay, now, yeah, that was kind of a fun brain break, but let's talk about physiologically, what did we just do?
Move.
Okay, we move. What happens when we move?
Our muscles work.
Okay, our muscles work, right. Okay, when we move, our blood is flowing, we're increasing our respiration. So what's occurring then? Increased oxygen going to our brain. Okay, so that's one thing. That's why we did it. It wakes us up. It keeps us alert. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're just going through a few things. Okay, so there was purpose to what we were doing. And then also, we crossed over a couple times, right? So what happens? Crossing the midline. Okay, so when we cross the midline, what does that do? Does anybody know? Right, the brain. What about the brain?
The right and left side, like
Right, the right and the left side talk to each other. So there's lots of benefits that happen when we do those things. And so I know it was kind of a goofy little thing, but it got us up, got us moving, and it's really good especially for studying and learning, because it gets blood flow back up to the brain, helps you learn things. So there was a little bit of purpose to that, not just to have fun. Okay. So let's go talk about the microscopic anatomy of the skeletal muscle. A lot of you are already writing these down. That's great. So the sarcolemma is going to be a specialized plasma membrane, right? So that's going to be surrounding each muscle fiber. You also have myofibrils. They're going to be long organelles inside the muscle cell. Taylor will get to that, what a myofibril is and things like that. You had asked that question a few minutes ago. We have the sarcoplasmic reticulum. It is a specialized smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Do you guys remember that from biology? Was it last year? You guys last year, 2 years ago, whenever you took that. So it stores and releases calcium for the sarcoplasmic reticulum. That's the big thing that it does. I need you to understand that, because the calcium release, that's going to be the ion that changes everything. That's what allows for our muscles to contract. And without our sarcoplasmic reticulum to release that calcium, you wouldn't have muscle contraction. And then you also have the sarcomere, and that's going to be the contractile unit of a muscle fiber. And we'll talk about that a little bit more too here in a slide. So, I believe this is your other. Is this, no, not quite. Not quite. Okay, so that's all right. This isn't quite it, but it's part of what it is. I just want to point out, okay, so we have our muscle fibers up here, okay? Our muscle fibers are the cells. And within those cells, we have, so if we look, this is going to be like one of the muscle fibers, okay? So here's a nucleus, and that's like one of the things that's coming out. So we can break down our muscle cells even more. Here we have myofibrils, okay? And myofibrils are going to be a long organelle, right? That's basically found in our muscle cells. And so you heard me talk about the striations, right? We talked about the striations of the muscles. And so the striations, if you look at what we have, right? So all of these muscles, all of these myofibrils are running lengthwise, right? So that's what gives us those big lines in our muscles. You remember when you even think of like a chicken breast, right? You cut open a chicken breast and it has all those like frills, right? I mean, that's what we're looking at, right? So these are the breaking down of the muscles, like into these smaller and smaller parts. So we have a segment of muscle fiber right here, so of the actual cell. And so when we blow it up, and what we're looking at here, we have a myofibril or fibro. So looking at these different things, we have a dark band, which is also called the A band. And then we have something called the light band, which is the I band. So we'll go through that here in a moment. I do want to, let's see, where are we at? Well, that's a lot. Okay, we'll go through it. I know it might be kind of hard to read. But we'll go through this one here real quick. Let's see, 10 minutes, so we're okay. So myofibrils are aligned to give us distinct bands, right? And so we kind of talked about it. If we're looking at a myofibril, we can see that we have kind of a dark band, a light band, a dark band, a light band, okay? So it's split up into something like that. And so when we're going through that, the dark band, or the light band, the I band, is going to be containing only the thin filament. And thin filaments are going to be composed of actin, and that's a protein, and so it's only going to be composed of actin, and it's anchored at the Z disc. So what is the Z disc? Well, the Z disc is going to be the spot where your actin comes together, and so you have a Z disc right along here.
Wait, did you say the I band joins at the Z disc?
Correct.
Oh. Okay.
Yes. And if we look here, we have our I band right here, right? So our I band, the actin filaments, right? They're going to come together. They're joining. They create the Z disc, right? That's where they kind of come together. And so these are these clumps of protein. They're very structured clumps of protein that are right along, and we term that the Z disc. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, then we also have the A band, which is also the dark band, and it contains the entire length of the thick filaments, and it's composed of the protein myosin. Thick filaments are myosin filaments, and that's a protein myosin. And myosin and actin do overlap, and when they overlap, that's what allows for muscle contraction. And so when muscle contraction occurs, when those muscles shorten, it's because the actin and myosin are overlapping to where they can pull it in together. How are you guys doing? What's up?
I was just trying to read what it says has ATPase.
Right, it has HTPase enzymes. And so that just means they're going to be creating a lot of ATP in there. Why would they need to create ATP?
For energy.
Right, it needs a lot of energy in that cell because you're going to be needing to have a lot of energy. Because what's one thing that we know uses a lot of energy in cells? That might have to do with ions. What? I heard it. potassium pumps. Excellent. And so without them, right, we wouldn't be able to get back to where we're supposed to be. And so there's going to be a lot of HTPase enzymes to help create ATP. Okay, so now let's go through a little bit more. This is a little bit more blown up picture of what we're seeing, right? So we have this I band, right? The light band. And why is it light? Well, it's because we have thin filaments. There's nothing else there except the thin filaments. So they're going to be hard to see, right? So we have this light band here. And so with that light band, they're going to form on that Z discus where they come together. Then we're going to have the A band. And the A band is going to be the part where it's the entirety of the thick filaments. You can see this thick filament part right there. Everyone see that okay? Okay, and if you notice, we have overlap here. And that's so when contraction occurs, we can shorten everything up. That's the whole point of it. Okay, and then we also have something right down the center here. You see where the thin filaments stop, right? This is what we call the H zone. The H zone is actually what's going to be getting smaller when our muscles contract. And so that's where the muscles actually shorten. That's what's going to be shortening it. Okay, and so that occurs right along, this is what we call an M line. That's what we call an M line. So if we go even a little bit further down, so what we have here is our Z disc, right? These are where we have our actin, right? And that's right here. And then our thick filaments, which is going to be myosin. And these are really thick compared to our actin lines, right? And so if we see, I don't know if you can, it's hard to see the definition on here, but in your book especially, you can see it. And you guys can see it all right on your, yeah, you can see it pretty well. Everyone see on their sheet here. It kind of looks, I don't even know, kind of like a heart type thing. That's what we call myosin heads. Did you watch that video where it was that goofy guy that he talked about like the romance of myosin and actin?
The crash course one?
Yeah, the crash course one. You guys watch that video? Okay, so basically what it is you have these myosin heads, right? And so they're going to be like, if these are the myosin heads, and here's my actin filament, they're kind of in the resting state, they're in a cocked position, and then when like they're going to close up here and they're going to whoosh. And so like you have myosin heads that are going to be running this way, so then when it's time to contract, they'll push in, and then on this side of the M line, they're going to push in. So then that's how you get that shortening or the contracting part. How are we doing? Are you guys kind of understanding?
I was like, is this the diagram I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, you guys are supposed to be like
Just wondering.
filling stuff out.
Can you just leave it there then?
Leave it there for a minute? Okay.
There is no T either, by the way.
There's no what?
That's like the top half of the
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. No, okay. That's all right. We'll finish it tomorrow. So don't worry about not being the D part. We'll go through it. Yeah, we will pick up. This is okay. So you guys have like, I'd say about 70% of the stuff we've gone through now. All we have is the actual physiology part. First, we had to get through the anatomy portion, and that's what we did today. How are you feeling on the anatomy portion? Does it all make sense how there's this specific structure to a muscle fiber, and it's all basically, it's kind of the same thing broken down and broken down and broken down, all until we get to this aspect. Does that make sense? Kinda, yeah. Okay.